Welcome back. Yes, I was saying that Mrs. Ilori will talk to us about the efforts in the rural areas.
Yes, thank you. In the rural areas, what we do at NCDC is we support the states and the local government to do their work. And that is to engage the traditional leaders, the religious leaders, the important persons in the community, and talk to them on what the transmission of Lassa fever, how you can contact it, create awareness within the community using that medium, the traditional leaders, the religious leaders. Now, the state and the local government are the ones that actually do the activity. We at the NCDC support them. We build their capacity. We also produce some messages for them to translate in the local languages. And that's what the states and the local government are doing. We have been to we also go with the, like I mentioned earlier, the environmental health officers. They also do their own part at the community level. They engage the environmental health officers at the local government level, at the state level, and they go, in turn, go to the community and create awareness for them to be able to keep their environment clean. The agriculture sector too, they're doing the same thing. So it's one health approach, one team that we go to the states, support the states, build their capacity, and then go down to the local government. From the local government, we go to the community and engage the traditional leaders and the religious leaders.
Madam, if you compare the numbers now to the numbers this time last year, you would agree that it doesn't look like your communication is working because the figure is higher now than it was this time last year. So what are you doing about that? Are you going to tweak your communication or the work that you're doing in the rural areas so that the figures don't rise like they have?
Yes, that's our intention. We are working on aggressive communication to the communities. That's what we're doing now. Real aggressive communication. Our risk communication teams are working 24/7, trying as much as possible to create that awareness in the community. And like I mentioned earlier, sometimes, we want people to help us to help them, because we talk, when you engage people, you tell them what they're expected to do. But, we have this habit that we don't tend to take what people tell us until it happens to us. So we feel, and it can never happen to us. But you see, it's a continuous thing. We're also engaging anthropologists to be able to talk to the people, to understand their culture, the reason why they are doing this. That's why I said in our NCDC, we are very proactive. We are more proactive than what we did last year. And I said it also that because we have created awareness and people are aware, so even when they have it, in previous years, we've had cases dying at home, not coming to the health facility. But now people are more aware, so they come to the health facility early and get treated. So we see more cases because people are coming out now to be treated.
Okay, we also see more cases amongst health workers. Can we talk more about this infection prevention practices in hospitals? Just so when a patient comes in, the caregiver, while not stigmatizing the patient, knows what to do in terms of protecting himself or herself.
Thank you. Yes, this is one of the very proactive activities that we did after the 2018 outbreak. We have reviewed our infection prevention control guideline. Then we have also sensitized the health workers. Last year, we trained not less than 6% in all the states, including states that never reported Lassa fever. We trained them on IPC and also trained them on management of the cases. Now, we are also training the primary health care level. We have a guideline for the primary health care level. And so we're sensitizing the health workers to be able to identify cases. Apart from that, also protect themselves. Simple standard precaution. You put on your gloves when you're treating a patient. You know, normal, wash your hands after treating a patient. So all those we have sensitized the health workers on what to do. Luckily for us, for this year, compared to last year, as at this time last year, we had recorded up to 5 deaths in health workers. But for this year, we have recorded only 1 infected case, but no death in any health worker for this year.
That's good to hear, but although we want no debt at all. Mr. Akigbe, last year, overall, we had over 600 confirmed cases. Unfortunately, 171 people died. What are your men going to be doing differently too? Yes, you have mentioned deratization and enlightenment. What else? I know those days, you talk about health officers going from house to house. Yeah. To check on the environment.
Well, yeah, we are the old wole wole. What a routine inspection of premises are one of the strategies we evolve to ensure that premises are maintained, not to have nuisances. Nuisances are those conditions that could lead to an accident, spread of disease, or whatever. And they stem from refuse, improper refuse storage or management, overgrown weeds within the environment, blocked drains, all and many other conditions like that. These are what we look for when we go into houses for inspection. But let me bring something out here. You see, if comparing last year episode to this year episode, you will agree with me that, like what NCDC is doing, they're doing wonderful work with training and all that. But I want to point out that there is a disconnect between the government and the people. See, no matter how you sensitize the people, the persuasion and the moralization will have a limit, in the sense that if you look at refuse management, okay, let's look at what exactly is the natural habitat of Mastomys natalensis, or rats, rodents generally. Mastomys natalensis is a bush rat. And once there's dry season, you know, bushes are dried up, people practice bush burning, and this rat will leave their natural place and run into man's environment. And when man now provide better food than this rat will get in the bush, they stay back. And they are the natural reservoir of Lassa fever. Now, we have in almost all our states, refuse management is very, very poor. And the government seems to be insensitive. I've been in Adamawa lately, 2 weeks ago. I've been in Kano, I've been in Kaduna, I've been in Gombe, I've been in Ondo, I've been even in Lagos State here. You will see refuse everywhere. And the people are just exposed to it. Refuse has become a call, not like a natural call. If you want to ease yourself, you cannot say, okay, I don't want to ease myself because something is happening. Refuse you cannot keep within the house. Definitely want to take it outside. But there is no system
that picks up
the refuse from the road. And so it feels, look at rain has started now. And you see everywhere flooded because the drains are blocked. When rain falls now, wash all the refuse into the drain and everywhere is blocked. You see flooding. Only very few days of rain, you see flooding everywhere. So the government should actually look at a very quick action. I mean, red alert, state of emergency on refuse management, because if you continue to play lip service, more than Lassa fever will come and happen as we're going into it. The government is not doing enough as far as environmental management is concerned. And this is because environmental health service has been like downplayed. It's been downplayed. And preventive medicine becomes something we do not count. When we do not have disease, we do not want to know that somebody is doing the work of preventing the disease. But when there's an epidemic, that is when everybody begins to talk. And it should not be. That is what I mean by the preventive aspect of medicine, which is what we should. The Englishman says prevention is better and cheaper than cure. Let's ask questions from each state government in Nigeria, even the federal government. How many environmental health officers do we have in the service that is going to prevent or take care of the preventive medicine for the people? WHO says one environmental health officer should take care of 8,000 of the population. Now we have one environmental health officer taking care of about 55,000 people. And the implication is that before you will see environmental health officer on your street, it will be another year because they are actually, and it's not as if we don't have the labor, this set of professionals. They graduate every year from all our universities and colleges of health technology, but the governments are not employing them. Instead, they will employ charlatans, they go and employ patronage of political parties, and then they can't do anything. Okay, they give them all the way with that, and the government is starting all over and over again. We should come back to square one. So we are looking at the tropical diseases, imagine the diseases and reimagine, like this Lassa fever, should have been taken care of if we are serious about preventive medicine.
Okay. So we are looking at the government doing its part.
Yes.
Okay, let me start from the people, ensuring that you make your environment clean, then bag your refuse properly, and keep in appropriate places. Yeah. Then we look at the government in terms of waste management, ensuring that the waste they are taken care of as quickly as possible. Yeah. Now, if there is unfortunately a case of Lassa fever, how can the people recognize this and what should they do? Okay,
like the lady from NCDC rightly spelled out, Lassa fever, the incubation period is 6 to 21 days. Within that time, you begin to see people coming up with fever. The fever looks ordinary, but once you treat malaria or you go for clinical diagnosis of malaria and it stays negative, and you still continue to persist, fever persists, you begin to suspect Lassa fever. And once there is a suspected person within, it should be reported to the health facility immediately. And the premises of a confirmed case of that person must be taken care of in terms of disinfection. They disinfect the place, the officers will come and disinfect the place, the beddings, the personal effects of the person, and make sure that all the contacts are listed for monitoring by the health facility. In that case, we'll be reducing contact, we'll be reducing spread within the immediate associates of that person.
Now, how do health workers determine which areas to go to for the work that they do? Like you mentioned deratization. I mean, how did you choose the markets you went to, for instance?
It's general market. General, not you cannot pick. It's general because the environment is holistic.
Yeah, I mean, which neighbor, or how do you determine the neighborhoods then?
Yeah, well, within your immediate environment, you want to look at everything that makes the environment. Look at, like I mentioned, your refuse. Look at your food store. Look at your beddings. Look at even the fittings of your door, your window. Look at your ceiling. When you see stains on your ceiling, that is rat runs. When you see they are dropping, that is for you to suspect that there is rat infestation. Okay. And that we have to reduce immediately.
Quickly, as we wind down, let me come to you in Abuja. It's been 50 years of Lassa fever in Nigeria. I don't know how well we have risen to that challenge, but in closing, is there any number or are there any numbers that people can call just in case they find suspected cases and things like that?
Yes, at NCDC we have a toll-free line. And the toll-free line, I don't know if I have to call it, but the toll-free line is 080-097-00010. I'll call it again, 080-097-000. That's 4010. It's a toll-free line. We encourage the public to call. Some of the confirmed cases that we have seen in the past have been identified from these calls. People have called us and we have escalated to the state, and from there we have investigated and found out that the case was actually a suspect, and we have taken the necessary action. So we expect the public, you can call us at that toll-free line and we'll respond.
All right, thank you so much for coming on this morning. We've been having a chat with the head of National Lassa Fever Technical Working Group at the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, LC Ilori, and the National President, Environmental Health Officers Association of Nigeria, Samuel Akigbenyi. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts this morning with us on Sunrise. I hope all of us will have to, ensure that we keep our environments clean. So we'll take another break, and it will be time for the home stretch.
The home stretch.